Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the New York and Seashore. And this is my first episode since making my gender transition. The rules related to that are in the description. So anyway, before I start working on the route, I want to show you what I've been working on lately. And that's the reason why today we're starting at the Raritan River instead of the Jersey City terminal. And I know this is before where I left off, but I just wanted to give everyone kind of a sense of where everything is. No, it wasn't here. I'm just gonna go through the major stuff I did right now. So I'm gonna have to have my mini map so I remember the station names. So here we have Union, that was already done. And then up here we have Roselle Park, and you might notice that I've added some signals here. I've done a lot of work on this section and past here. So these spline points in this grade crossing right here are pretty much where the line ended before. And here we're going into a very wide curve. So this is where trains can speed up. Here we get into the Aldine crossovers next to the Aldine station. At least for now, they're named mostly after real locations. Again, this is still in commuter territory. Here's Plainfield and the Plainfield crossovers. Here's Garwood and its signals, again named after the location on what's now the Raritan Valley. Oh, sorry about that. You may notice there's no scenery here. So here's Netherwood, which is the last station before the end of commuter territory. And then here we get to Wausau, or however that's supposed to be pronounced. I think it's a place on Long Island. I only named it that because that's what was printed on the station. So anyway, you have a couple of. Over here is the commuter yard. This could be either a commuter yard or maybe a small local freight yard. And that station is the end of commuter territory. So we have a small engine facility here. I'll have to add an ash pit. That's the thing I keep forgetting at everyone. So there's crossovers, signals. And like I said, this is the end of commuter territory, and from here it goes right up into the mountains. So this roundhouse is also a base for helper operations, or pushers, depending on what railroad you follow, or what era. I'm just going to use the term pusher. For the most part, I'm going to use the term pushers from now on. So anyway, here's where the double track ends and the grade begins. Right here is North Branch, named after a real location. And actually, this is kind of still in commuter territory, but it's one of those places where there isn't much service left. Here's Calco, and there's a small section house here before we enter tunnel number 1. Keep going up the grade to Leolin, and at this point, I start naming places after places on the Pennsylvania's Elmira branch, which is featured in the book I'm reading called Set Up Running, The Life of a Pennsylvania Railroad Engine Man. Windy Mountain is named after a place in Washington State. Here's the only siding on this. Each side of this grade has one siding. So then this siding, I guess, is pretty long. This is probably like modern. So there's High Bridge, which is this bridge right here. And there's water plugs and signals. After the train crosses to the other side of the creek, we go into Trout Run, again an Elmira branch place. And then we get into the top of the grade at the town of Ralston. There isn't much here right now, but that'll change soon. So I have a Y, a coal loader, and a station for the most part, and then and then I'll take you on a tour up in the branch line just after we look at the yard. So this is a yard for coal trains that are coming off of these branch lines that diverge here. So now we're going to look at the branch lines. So here, this dips down for a little bit to cross the creek, and then here it kind of diverges into two kind of main forks. On this fork, the track is entirely completed for the most part. So we're just going to quickly visit each of the mines. This is the Leolin Coal. This is the Leolin Coal Company, and there's always an engine. There's always an engine based here. So I decided it's best to have a small roundhouse, which would serve not only the engine that's based here, but also any engines that come in. This is probably a 3 or 4 train a day kind of operation based on the size of the Ralston yard. So then it just curves around the mountain here and to form kind of a tail track. And I am going to add water facilities, but considering it's a coal mine, coaling facilities aren't needed. This is just a drill track, so the trains don't have to go down the grade and push back up. So anyway, we're going to visit the other two mines in this area. And here we go to get to the Black Ridge mine, which is slightly smaller. And this doesn't have a permanent engine based here. So we just have a turntable, and we're going to have a water plug and everything else that's needed. This track is going to go into the mine when the mountain is built. And over here is the Peabody number 21 mine. This is a fairly small mine which has a small Y to turn locomotives. And this is probably like a 1 train a day. Black Ridge is probably maybe 2 trains a day, or 1 long one. Remember, this is the 50s we're talking about, so 40s, 50s, or maybe even earlier, depending on my own personal tastes or what I want to run. So anyway, this fork isn't anywhere near being finished. But as you can see, it goes up a fairly steady grade.